As a firearms instructor, one of the most common questions I get from my students is when they can use a firearm in a self-defense situation. This is a question that I cannot answer honestly or accurately without knowing the situation, because there's just too many variables involved. This is why we're going to talk about the use of force continuum today. The use of force continuum was designed for law enforcement in mind, but I think greatly benefits concealed carry holders as well, as it keeps them within the guidelines of the law. What is the use of force continuum? In order to answer that question, we need to discuss three important factors that make up the use of force continuum and how it operates, and that's means, opportunity, and intent. In order to justifiably draw your weapon in a self-defense situation, all three of those items must be present, and without all three, you may end up facing legal issues. Now let's break these three down in detail. The first is means. Your threat must have the means to cause you or someone else serious bodily injury or death. For example, if your threat is an unarmed man that does not have any weapons, he does not have the means to cause you or anybody else serious bodily injury or death. Second is opportunity. If your threat is behind a locked door, unable to reach you because there's an item, in this case a door, between you and the threat, that threat does not have the opportunity to cause you or anybody else serious bodily injury or death. And lastly, intent. Your threat must have the intent to cause you serious bodily injury or death. For example, you're in a dark parking lot. You're walking to your car when you see a suspicious person on the corner of your eye with a crowbar. Now, if you were to draw your weapon on this person without them showing intent, you could be leaving that parking lot in handcuffs. Now, there's one other factor to consider before drawing your firearm in a personal defense situation, and that is a person's perception of threat. Each person's perception of threat differs from one person to another. For example, a woman's perception of threat is naturally greater than a man's perception of threat. Now, what do I mean by perception of threat? What I mean is, in order to justifiably draw your firearm in a personal defense situation, you must believe that you or someone else's life is in danger. This is greatly considered not only by the law enforcement, but by the courts as well if you find yourself in a personal defense situation. It's important to understand the use of force continuum and all its properties. This may not only save your life, but save your freedom.